All right.
Danny Myers and the G105 Morning Show.
Post-show pod.
Yeah, normally this is the conversation after the show, but we didn't do the show today.
No. There was a show.
It was a sick day. There was a sick day. I had to call in because my dog, who I love so hard, that is 12 years old, had surgery yesterday.
Yeah.
And I thought, Ben, with every fiber of my being, that after the surgery, he would be tired. And so, like, I would be able to go to work the next day. But no, he was up all night just fidgeting and keeping me up. And,
I hate that.
You know, uncomfortable. And yeah. And furthermore, he's supposed to be wearing that cone.
Yeah.
The plastic cone.
Because he had the surgery to remove something from his tuchus.
That's right. There was, well, I mean, you know,
So
you say it like that, and you think it's like really, it was gross looking, but it wasn't like inside the tuchus.
No, not
right.
inside,
It wasn't like a colon polyp.
It was on top.
Right. So it was like a finger, really, is what it looked like either a big toe or like a thumb that was just an appendage. It was just like hanging off his body, poor little body.
It was there
on the haunch.
Yeah.
And it just kept growing and growing. And the vet over the years, they did like a little, what they call a biopsy, where they take a sample and make sure it's not something bad like cancer.
You're right.
And it wasn't. And so the vet refused to get rid of it until about a week ago. It caught on something. It got so big that, I don't know, he took a corner too fast or something and ripped it half off. So it had to come all the way off yesterday. And so he sailed through. Nelson, 12 years old. He did sail through surgery,
He's a
though.
trooper,
I can say
man.
that, which is good.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
to
he
sail
did
through?
really good.
What does that mean? He just.
Well, I mean, I just he came through surgery, like he sailed through surgery, like it was like a wind took him through surgery,
Easy
and
breezy?
there were no issues. Okay. Yeah, easy breezy, right through the surgery yesterday, and his favorite vet techs at Oak Heart Animal Hospital on Person Street in Raleigh got to love on him.
Yeah,
yesterday. It was great, but then then he comes home, and I think everything is fine. Try to go to bed, and he just wouldn't go to bed. Like he just wasn't comfortable.
That stinks. That's too bad, because you're uncomfortable, then he's uncomfortable, and then you're uncomfortable, and then that makes for a nasty situation.
Exactly. And, because you start getting frustrated when you're not getting sleep.
Yeah.
And if you're a parent, if you've gone through the newborn phase, then I can relate to you a little bit, because that is what I get that desperation.
Yeah.
Where this guy is suffering,
Please
like
go
a
to bed.
baby is innocent, baby is innocent, but like your lack of sleep intersects with the fact that they're not letting you sleep, and you start to have frustration. And none of it manifested.
Yeah.
I didn't yell at the dog or like do anything to the dog, but I felt it in my heart.
You felt it. I know that feeling. I know it, because also as a dog owner, we're not human parents, but we're puppy parents. You can have those nights where they eat something bad and they're like puking and doing all sorts of nasty stuff all night, and it's so frustrating. Right. And I had an employee outing for one of my other part-time jobs last night, and pretty much everybody there has kids, and they were like all relating, and like me and only one other person don't have kids. And then they turned to me and they're like, "So Ben, you're getting married. You guys gonna have kids?" And after hearing them like really not have a good time with their kids, they were like, "Ben, you want to have kids?" I was like, "Nope, I'm good." And they were like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "It just doesn't." I couldn't. I don't know. Hats off to those parents who go through it, because I know it's not easy, but whew, maybe in like 10, 15
that
years.
one. Because I've talked to parents that have gone through that too, like the extreme lack of sleep, and most have at some point done something they wish they could take back.
Sure.
And hopefully it's on the minor side that you just yell or whatever.
Exactly.
But that was definitely welling up last night. I'm like, I got to figure this out, because I was just one more little movement, scratch, twitch from the dog, from me like yelling at the dog.
Yeah.
And the dog, he's been through surgery, for God's sake.
Yeah, I know, but people can relate to that. I know they can, because it gets frustrating. Obviously, like you already said, it's not their fault, but it does affect you as a person, because it gets frustrating. Ding.
But there's nothing like a lack of sleep to just affect everything.
Yeah.
Do you need to get that message? What was incoming on that computer?
Yeah, actually.
Was that an important work email?
If we could just stay silent for 5 minutes while I check this email, respond,
Ben has
kidding, I have
a
no
habit
stuff.
of missing very important work emails, so I'm looking out for him right
Maybe
now.
you actually are. Maybe I actually should check this. 90% of my stuff is junk, but I ignore 100% of it, so that's a problem. No, this one is junk.
So we have our actually as soon as we finish the post show pod, we're gonna have our game plan. So
Yeah.
the show on G105 and on iHeartRadio will be live tomorrow,
Yeah.
whether I'm in studio or I'm here. I'm lucky enough to have a home studio that really sounds the same.
Yeah, it sounds good.
You know, people that are in the business like are tricked when I'm broadcasting from home.
Yeah.
Until the dog barks in the background.
Exactly. You guys letting a dog in the studio? Because you get texts during the show. It's like, are you here or there? And they don't know. They don't know.
Hey, maybe one of my colorful neighbors will stop by tomorrow if I am at home, I'll get to invite him in, a little special guest.
A little guest interview. I like that. Go get him now.
At my house, I live downtown,
Yeah.
and I think living in an urban area, it's either or. Either people are like super keep to themselves, or they're all in each other's business.
Yeah.
And my part of downtown Raleigh is all in each other's business.
You get people on your front doorstep every day. It seems like
Every day. Everybody knows everyone. Well, I think it also, I didn't realize, and I've never said this on the air, I'm so close to the bus stop. So maybe that's part of it,
That
too.
could be it. They're on their way home from the bus stop, and they're like, oh, we got to check in on Danny. Got to give him the guys.
Yeah, or they're sitting at the bus stop
That's
waiting,
true.
looking
Yeah.
in my
That's
house
true.
and going, hey, what's going on with that guy and that dog? I think I might want to knock on the door and
wanna
check in.
Introduce myself.
So anything on your mind this morning, Ben? Or
There's-
afternoon or evening, because it's a podcast, so it's
Whenever.
on demand. Why did I say morning?
There's a few things on my mind. I don't know if we have time to get to them, but one of them is a wake-up call this morning as I got in my car to come back to the radio station. I got in my car, and there was a stench.
Yeah.
As soon as I sat down, I gagged. And when I gag, well, genuinely, it's loud and it's guttural and it's disgusting. And I did that, and I was like, wow! And I got back out of the car, and I was like, what the heck is? Because my car is a mess. We've talked about this before, but it is just a cluttered hoarder situation. It's really gross. So I go in the back seat where there's even more mess. I'm like, I got to find what this smell is. I go and I start digging. I'm like, what is in here? I don't know. Did I leave food in here? I don't know. And then I lift open a freezer bag that was in there for some reason.
No.
And there was a pumpkin in this freezer bag. Now, Danny, you might remember we did a little stunt on the air 4 or 5 months ago with a pumpkin where we put rubber bands
That's
around
right.
it.
Yes.
This was the backup pumpkin that has been in my car since.
Oh, my God.
It was rotting. It was moldy. It was mushy. And I was like, how did I let a pumpkin stay in my car for, was it 5? Was it 6 months when we
And
did this?
how did you not notice it over the last few days?
Yeah.
Because that didn't happen overnight.
No, I noticed a little stench yesterday as I was leaving the radio station, but
Yeah.
I was like, I'll figure it out later. I don't feel like dealing with this. I get this nap time. It stinks.
Yeah, no, I believe that. I've got several things I can share. It's hard for me to even think which one first. But again, I think parents can relate to that because the kids just stash food between seats and under seats. So if you are somebody who has kids, this is it's relatable to you, and it's also disturbing that Ben, as just a single man, can't keep his car clean enough by himself.
I don't know what's wrong.
You know,
with me.
you have your kids who are doing that, like tiny children who don't know better. He knows better, and he's just can't be trusted. But on the tip to make you feel better
please.
is this was several years ago, but I had this infestation of fruit flies in my car. And it started with a few, and I was like, what is going on here? And I didn't really think it was a big deal, but I was like, oh, that's not cool. And then it got to be you could see fruit flies in the air because there were so many in the car. And I had done several searches to try to locate what was causing this and couldn't find it. And it took probably a week or two of just driving around in a car full of bugs for me to locate a plum, a little plum had rolled out of a grocery bag and in the crack between the console and the seat, it was in there and it was almost impossible. And it was so dark, the color of a plum is very dark. But yeah, that was the culprit, and it was there for I don't know a month or two.
We're two gross dudes, man. We are certainly some gross dudes for allowing this stuff to happen.
But that should be a wake up call.
Absolutely.
haven't had that happen since the plum incident of 2004 or whatever.
I hope this doesn't happen again. The pumpkin incident of 2022. I hope this never repeats. I'm gonna clean my car today. I'm gonna get all the stuff
you
out.
gotta if you take if you have things that you're going to take, you need to take them.
I understand.
That's another Ben thing is that he accepts gifts, accepts food, and then just never takes it.
You want to know?
Like you just leave it either at the radio station. Now I know your car is a secondary holding point. I'm wondering if anything I've ever given you has made it to your home.
You know what? I know is not in my home that you gave me, and I don't know where it is because I thought that this was the smell. The garlic you gave me. You ordered about 20 heads of garlic, and you gave me and my friend Scott some of these cloves of garlic.
Yeah.
And I put it in my car. I know I didn't take it inside, but it is lost in my car somewhere. My little tiny Mazda.
You gotta
3.
find it.
I'm like, I really want that garlic, but that's another example of I take and leave in the vehicle. It's just there somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't know where.
I know you're not this way, so I'm kind of letting you off the hook a little bit, but I know you worry so much about hurting people's feelings and how you're perceived. If you get a gift and you don't take it home, that is such a show of lack of gratitude. Yeah, you're going to have to answer these emails.
Up,
I mean, come on. But no, that's actually, you know what? That's God who's also weighing in that I am right on this.
Ding, ding, because it was two dings.
Right, because that shows thoughtlessness. That shows that you're not grateful when somebody gives you something that you don't care about it enough to get it out of the workplace and into your home.
I know. It's just like it's a.
And I let you off the hook because I know you so well. I don't take it personally, but I know it's a bad look.
It's a bad habit.
It's a bad look.
It's a real bad habit that I've developed because my mind, instead of saying just do it now, my mind is like, oh, I'll just do it in a minute, and then the minute becomes an hour, it becomes a day, becomes a week, and I just leave it where it is, and I know how it comes off.
Right.
But that my brain,
and that's why I'm like, because I know you. That's something that you really does motivate you is the thought of what this says to another person, how this affects another person. So maybe you need to put that in the frontal lobe.
I think you're right. I think I need to place it from back here. Now it's there. Now it's there. Now
just to be 100% clear, I don't give a rip.
Okay.
I'm going to keep giving you stuff. I don't care if there's piles of it at the radio station. Right. I give not because I care what you do with it. I give because I like to give.
Good. And
without attachment.
But I will start to make moves in the right direction to go with your thoughtfulness and receive the thoughtfulness by taking it all the way home and using it.
So does that mean today there is chili here, right, that you haven't taken? Still in the freezer. Okay, so this is the list of things that Ben has received from me. There's chili. There is Tina Fey's autobiography, very funny book.
I forgot about that.
What else? There's other things.
A lot.
Like every gift I have ever given is still at the radio station.
Yeah, there's I think you...
With the exception of the occasional food gift that I've hung on the mirror of his car or put on the hood of his car, so he has to take
something. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Yeah.
Man, we're fixing these things. We're gonna get fixed.
Healing.
Both.
That's it, because I worry about this podcast that we do. This is the post show pod on iHeartRadio and wherever you get your podcasts. But I worry that because you have to have a lane for podcasts. Yeah. And our lane is, we're just going to keep talking about stuff we talked about on the show. There's really still no focus. But the lane is developing that we have therapy for each other. That exists after
our audience. We cater to ourselves and the betterment of ourselves, and that's our lane.
It really is. That's been more of these podcasts than not have gone quickly into some level of atonement, therapy, apologies, gratitude.
Yeah.
Self-improvement. We are doing self-improvement before your ears.
But maybe the lane is less selfish. Maybe it's not just us. Maybe people are relating to one of our issues, and they're like, I have that same issue, and they're solving that issue.
Yeah.
And so maybe we are helping people, and it's not just for ourselves. Yeah. And that's what I hope.
Ben, because this is one of the weekly podcasts that we post the video as well. he made a New Year's resolution that he wasn't going to wear that hoodie into the workplace, and I see it showed up today.
Well,
like that again. I'm just holding you accountable. I don't care. I like that hoodie.
I love it too.
But is this like this is the week of full on regression?
This is a real backslide happening because
you've been out 2 nights in a row.
That's wrong.
You're wearing the hoodie you said was retired. Your car has finally vomited to the point where you are taking action after, like, you've been defiant about that car and refusing to do anything to keep up the maintenance of your car.
You know what they say?
Like, everything is coming together this week.
You got to hit rock bottom. And maybe I'm close. Maybe I'm very close to rock bottom so that we turn around, baby.
God. Okay. What else, friend? Do you have more things that we need to bear from your soul? Because I'm going to start charging you if we have more therapy.
Then I'm gonna save it for another podcast. That I'm gonna save because that's too much.
Can you tease me?
I can tease you. Well,
can you tease me?
Know what happened? Yeah. There was an issue that because we did a rerun show, what we call Best Of. There was an issue.
Yeah. And, well, I think that's actually a really good one to save because it's pain plus time equals comedy.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to the time part.
And Ben's work pain that he inflicted
on myself
today.
And listeners.
I'm already finding the comedy in it, but I think our bosses not there
so
yet.
Much that we need a little bit more time before we can go.
Time.
We need that part of the equation.
We need it.
It's X right now. We don't
at least another 24 hours. We will have to address it tomorrow because I know on this post-show pod, a lot of the people that are active consumers of our morning show on G105 are on here, and it's something that a lot of them were really freaking out over today.
Yeah.
So I do think you're right. We do have to address it maybe tomorrow.
And we'll tell you why once we figure it out. Once we figure out why Ben is so dumb.
It's not dumb, Ben.
It's a dumb little.
It's not dumb. It's not.
We'll get into that.
It's an honest mistake. It's an honest mistake.
Right. Well, but it's a dumb, honest mistake.
Again, I already find the comedy in what you did.
I need a little more time. I need a little more time.
You need it, and our bosses definitely need it. So we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Danny Myers and the G105 Morning Show.
Post-show pod.